Part 2 of Red Blue Love Affair. Author Nux X Atomaniac. Sonic and Knuckles have always been enemies. But is that how they really feel? A competition is starting in Station Square. They'll show their real feelings for each other. Lemon, 2-shot, rated M, English, romance, humor, Knuckles, Sonic, chapters 2. I hate that stubborn little hedgehog. Knuckles went up and down in front of the Master Emerald. What does he think who he is? He growled. No competition for him, huh? Well, at least I showed him who the boss is, Knuckles said, satisfied. But somehow he had a bad conscience about that. Maybe I pulled that joke too far, he thought, but he provoked me. If he hadn't said that, I'm no competition for him. Well, but I kinda started with my sarcastic comments, he sighed. I'll never get around him. He wanted to hate Sonic, but he couldn't. The truth was, no matter how cool he acted around Sonic, he was quite nervous all the time. He even used to be on good terms with Sonic once. He would even go that far to say that he was Sonic's best friend. He even was closer to him than Tails. But when Sonic started to treat him like an idiot and made fun of him all the time, Knuckles decided to cut the relationship with Sonic and the others because he was hurt. He would never admit that, never showed his feelings to anybody, but his heart was bleeding. He had trusted Sonic as not to get cheated by the person he believed in, but still, he didn't hate him. No, the opposite. But he would hide those feelings from everyone. He'd rather die than let anyone know that he was in love with that idiot. Knuckles was lost in thought. Me? Never. He heard his echo in the mountains. He didn't realize that he got loud. At times like this, he was glad to be in the mountains, where nobody but him was around, so he could talk to himself as much or as loud as he wanted to. I better start training or I'll lose to that blue hedgehog. Perish the thought. He laughed. It felt good to be able to laugh. It kind of lightened the burden on him. Sonic, everything all right? Amy asked. Her Tails and Sonic were helping with the preparations for the competition. Huh? Did you say something, Amy? Sonic startled. Are you okay, Sonic? Amy asked again. You don't want to look anyone in the eyes, and you are all red in the face. Sonic blushed. I'm fine. I just didn't get enough sleep yesterday. Well, to be honest, I slept very well after Sonic blushed even more. I don't think I can look him in the eyes anymore. Are you scared about the fight? Amy asked carefully. Sonic looked up, totally surprised. He had thought about that once to know. What? No, he looked ashamed aside. Maybe a little. Ooh, Sonic! She flung her arms around his neck and hugged him. Amy, what's that for? Sonic asked Poe. You look just so cute now. Amy! Sonic started laughing. Such a situation. You just need a female friend. He was glad that he had Amy. Tails was a good friend, but he was sure he wouldn't understand. The day of the competition came. Sonic was exhausted. His whole body hurt. He was breathing hard. The fight with that E-Series robot really demanded him. He looked over the stage where Knuckles was fighting his last fight before the final round. If he won that, he would be Sonic's enemy in the last fight. He somehow wished that Knuckles would lose, but he knew it was impossible. The robot Knuckles was fighting against was damn strong. He knocked Rouge out with just one swing of his arm. But still he had no chance against Knuckles. He was at his best today. His movements were so fast that he couldn't see anything of him but a red flash lightning. Every single one of his punches caused the robot a lot of damage. The fight didn't even take 10 minutes. The robot fell. He was KO. And the winner is Knuckles the Aegina. The home crowd screamed and cheers. Knuckles looked shattered, but he was still smiling. Our finalists are decided with that. The last fight will be Sonic versus Knuckles, Mary yelled through the megaphone. After the break, you'll be witnessing the most exciting fight in history. Knuckles followed the others to the restroom for the break and for taking care of the wounds. He had a cut on his shoulder. It wasn't deep, but it was still bleeding. And maybe he had some metal shavings in it, and he had sprained his left foot. When the nurse took care of his wounds, he looked over to Sonic. He seemed too well, more or less. Knuckles was relieved. What the hell? Why am I relieved? I should be angry. I'm injured, but gotta fight against him who's just alright. That's not fair at all, he thought angrily, but he couldn't stop himself from smiling. Oh no, He's laughing at me. It looks so ridiculous, Sonic. I wonder if that cut hurts bad. Woo! I think the time has come when I've got to talk to him. Sonic stepped slowly. I can't let things stay like that. We've got to settle that once and for all before the fight. He walked over to Knuckles. With every step, he became more nervous, but there was no turning back now, and he really wanted to make up with Knuckles. Sonic got raped out of his thoughts when he realized that he was standing right in front of Knuckles. Maybe even a little bit too close. Knuckles looked at him with an inquiring glance. Sonic opened his mouth to greet him, but the words just wouldn't come out. He made a few more attempts to speak until he managed to bring out a stuttered greeting. Hi. Sonic flushed. Once again, he was acting like a total airhead. He quickly looked aside. Knuckles was completely clueless why Sonic was behaving like Knuckles would be about to kill him. Does he hate me that much? He thought angrily. When it came to Sonic, he was close to lose his composure. Since he was that confused about his feelings for him, his head was a mess. Once he was just that mad at Sonic that he'd like to kill him, and then again he was worried about him. When Sonic was around, he was so nervous he wished to be alone. But when he wanted Sonic to be around, it was driving him crazy. And now the Sonic had showed up before him with that cute look on the face. But no, he was about to fight him. All those thoughts were going around in his head. He completely forgot about Sonic standing in front of them until Sonic made another attempt to speak. Knuckles, Sonic's whole body was now trembling. He flushed his face now, almost as red as the Echina's fur. He turned his head, and so quiet that only Knuckles could understand me, whispered the words, I'm sorry. Just after those words left his lips, he blushed even more. Knuckles was completely puzzled. When he finally realized the meaning of Sonic's words, a smirk appeared on his face. Sonic could be so adorable sometimes. He jumped off the treatment table and leaned closer to Sonic, bringing his lips next to Sonic's sensitive ear and breathed 2 words in it. Thank you. Sonic, just realizing how close the other male was, slightly shivered when he felt Knuckles' hot breath hit his ear shell. He blushed even more, unable to move. Knuckles felt the urge to lick the hedgehog's ears rising, but resisted it. He just flashed a sly smile and, accidentally brushed Sonic's cheek with his nose, causing the hedgehog to flush even more. His skin now was almost magenta. See you in the arena, the Echina smiled with a sly grin. Knuckles walked off, leaving the hedgehog more confused than before and unable to do anything but watch the Echina departing. I've got a bad feeling about this fight. Knuckles became impatient while waiting for Sonic to finally enter the arena to face him before the final fight was about to start. He crossed his arms before his chest and let his eyes wander around the audience. Hard to believe that so many people would come just to watch Sonic and him fight. Was it really that big of an event? It didn't make him feel nervous, just a little uncomfortable. He wasn't used to being around so many people, and he didn't like it. Finally, he heard the audience shout and cheer. It seemed that Sonic was about to enter the stage. He turned his eyes to the entrance on the opposite side of the battlefield, and there he stood, not very impressive in his outlooks, but for Knuckles, definitely worth a glance. Sonic! Knuckles let his eyes wander down the hedgehog's body to check it for any sincere injuries. Maybe resting a little too long at his midsection with his small waist and cute butt. Sonic felt Knuckles' hot glance on his body, causing him to flush with confusion and embarrassment. When Knuckles' eyes stopped at Sonic's face, searching for his eyes, the hedgehog returned Knuckles' glance, looking him directly in the eyes. Knuckles tried to read Sonic's thoughts. Well, said Hedgehog was getting lost in the Echina's amethyst eyes. A sudden loud whistle wrapped them both out of their thoughts. The fight was about to start. Without any warning, Knuckles pounded the confused hedgehog in super speed. His punch hitting Sonic's stomach, making the blue hedgehog fly to the other side of the arena. Sonic hit the ground hard, letting out a cry of pain. As soon as he got up, Knuckles was behind him. His movements were so fast that it seemed like he teleported from one side to the other. He kicked Sonic in the back, causing the hedgehog to fly again across the arena, landing on his belly, again, crying from the pain and confusion. Knuckles, what? He asked with confusion. He felt tears building in his eyes and knew they didn't cover the pain. He hoped he could stop them before Knuckles would realize. And the Guillotine prepared to attack. Sonic didn't even think of getting out of the way. He just ducked, waited for the punch to come. Knuckles indeed pounded him, but instead of hitting him again, he nailed him on the ground, forcing Sonic to look at the other male above him. Now, what exactly is up with you, Sonic? Damn, I came here to fight and not to beat up some little child. I suddenly stopped scrutinizing Sonic more closely. Are you crying? He asked, puzzled. Sonic blushed. I am. No, it's just because you hurt me. You almost beat the shit out of me, Sonic stuttered in a huff. And why does that bother you so much? I mean, that's what we came for after all, the Red Echina responded. Sonic blushed even more, realizing that the time to tell Knuckles the truth finally had come, and the intimate position they were in didn't help to calm the flustered hedgehog. He took a deep breath and looked straight into Knuckles' eyes. Because I like you. And what about it? I like you too. It's not like you have to kill me. It's just a fight. No, not that kind of liking. I don't like you as a friend. I like you as... Sonic ducked, quiet, almost whispered now. As a lover. Knuckles remained silent. He just looked silently at Sonic with an expression in the space Sonic didn't understand. Sonic couldn't even try to take back those words. He was anxious about Knuckles' reaction. There was no way Knuckles could not have understood what he meant. Sonic was about to drown in his thoughts and worries when Knuckles finally spoke. Okay, that's it. Now you provoked it. Sonic froze at those words that really sounded dangerous. Knuckles stood up, throwing Sonic over his shoulders like a sack of potatoes. No, Knuckles, what? Sonic struggled with fear, and Knuckles' firm but somehow gentle hold. Ignoring the cries of confusion coming from the audience, the Echina leapt off. Sonic was surprised by the speed the Echina ran with as he jumped from roof to roof, but when Sonic came to look down, he yelped and clung tighter on the Echina's broad shoulder. He was afraid of heights. The next leap caused the blue hedgehog to squeeze his eyes shut. So he didn't realize where Knuckles was heading. The feeling of being thrown into soft grass made him open his eyes. They were on Angel Island. Knuckles, what? He started again, but was suddenly cut off when Knuckles jumped upon him. Sonic blushed. Sonic began to stutter. Knuckles, what? He yelped with pleasure. Was surprised when he felt a tongue gently licking up his ear. And Knuckles, Sonic breathed. Knuckles started slightly biting the hedgehog's ear now. Sonic moaned with pleasure. His whole body was getting hot at the touch. He shivered. Knuckles smirked at Sonic's neck. His hot breath sent shivers down Sonic's spine when the Echina spoke. You don't know how happy you made me with those words then. Sonic flushed.